Hi. Another clip on parliamentary elections around the world. Tonight, I would like to focus on American politics. There's so much I have to go through that I cannot do this in just one video. I must cut this into at least two pieces. 2 videos. Because I have a lot of ground to cover as far as American politics is concerned. Now, this first half will focus on my personal opinions and personal thoughts. I first became interested in American politics genuinely back in 2008 during the 2008 election. I paid close attention to it on television. And I'm a foreigner, I'm not American. And the reason I was so genuinely interested back then, excuse me, was because after years of things that I did not approve of that George W. Bush did, there was genuine hope that America could do things differently with the election of Barack Obama. I supported his candidacy and paid close attention to the campaign. Yeah. So, but after Obama got elected, and the more I learned as I studied into greater detail how US politics works, the less I liked US politics. In fact, I consider myself lucky to not be an American. For a while I actually thought that American politics, America was the greatest democracy in the world, the most free country in the world. I have learned that it is not, really. Now, I was actually, let me share a story with you guys, a polling station volunteer in Los Angeles. When some visiting American friends came here and heard how passionately I was into politics in general, especially American politics, they said, "Come help us out, help us set up the polling station, help us count the votes after they've been cast, help us become, an election volunteer," basically. And I jumped at the chance of a lifetime, and I did it, and it was great fun. Now, and I don't regret the experience. It was very interesting. It was my first dip into politics, I guess. I mean, I'm not going to ever be an elected politician, but yeah, that was my first job as far as politics is concerned, being something of a civil servant, but I was a volunteer. Now, if I was an American, there would only be one state in the United States which I would live in. The state of Vermont. I would want to live in Vermont because I want Bernie Sanders, the senator from Vermont, the only person in the United States Congress who is not afraid of the word socialist. I would want him to represent me. So I would move there so I have him representing me if I were American. And he is neither Republican nor Democrat. He's an independent. Although he caucuses with the Democrats, but that's the kind of compromises you have to make in this horrible two-party system, which I will describe in greater detail in the second video. Vermont is the only state with not so strict ballot access laws, and the only state that elected a socialist, the only state George Bush did not visit during his presidency, and the only state with multi-party politics. They're the only state legislature with a significant third-party presence, the Vermont Progressive Party. And I looked at their platform and I largely agree with their views. So, the only place in the United States for someone like me to be happy would be in the state of Vermont. Now, the other thing I must cover before I run out of time, the 15 minutes of YouTube, is this so-called Tea Party. But I've used the derogatory term teabaggers because, excuse me, I have no love for the teabaggers. I have no love for these people. Who are the teabaggers? Well, they are, to be brief, they are fiscally conservative Americans, but who want to completely dismantle everything the state provides. They want to dismantle everything the state provides. Healthcare, environmental protection, and any sort of government service. They want everything in the private sector. Now, the Tea Party genuinely do belong in the Republican Party. They are not a third-party force like some political commentators think they are, as if they're a third force in politics while still working within the Republican Party. No, they speak just like most Republicans, except the teabaggers. The difference with the teabaggers is they don't think rationally. They want to dismantle everything, and they don't want to make compromises, because that's how you work. If you want to get legislation through, you have to win over the votes, you have to make amendments, you have to debate the issue. No, they want to just push their agenda forward and have no room for discussion. So they're the far right of the Republican Party. The Republican Party usually always advocates for smaller government and more pro-private sector and business than the state helping people. The Republicans are the Tea Party do belong in the Republican Party. They are the radical, far-right faction of it, but they are not a third force. Mainstream Republicans try to keep some institutes of the state in place because most of them would be rational thinking. We need this in government, we need this in government. I mean, we can't do without this, we can't do without that. Even though we want to try to minimize how much the state influence is, that's a Republican point of view. Even though I disagree with it, I can understand it. Tea Party don't have any room for middle ground or for moderate thoughts. That's what the teabaggers are. That's how you define them. And if they are so-called libertarians, where were they when the United States needed them most? If it's smaller government they want. Back in 2008, before Barack Obama was president, where were they with the warrantless wiretapping, George Bush authorized, and the massive bailout, the gigantic bailout of 2008, TARP I believe it was called. Where were they? They suddenly pop up because a progressive agenda, because there was the perceived progressive agenda by Barack Obama. Most of us now know that Barack Obama is a conservative. Now, I want to close now, and I will continue with part 2 with a few more facts about American politics that some of you should know about. Thanks again.